Robocop 2 is a sci-fi action film released in 1990, June 22nd, 1990. It runs for 117 minutes long. The movie had a budget of 25 to 30 million and grossed 45.7 million at the box office. It was directed by Irvin Kershner and stars Peter Weller, Nancy Allen, and Tom Noonan. Now, this is a sequel to the 1987 surprise hit Robocop. This is the second entry in the franchise, and this is set in a dystopian Detroit. Doesn't say what years these movies take place, but it follows Robocop as he kind of becomes embroiled in a scheme made by the Omnicorp Corporation, or the Omni Consumer Products, OCP, to bankrupt and take over the city of Detroit while also fighting a new street drug, or kind of using that street drug to profit and make Detroit better in a way. And it's led by Kane, the gang leader. And this story is kind of interesting because back in the early or late 2000s, early 2010s, the city of Detroit did go bankrupt. No lie, look it up. And they started using drugs in order to fund the new way of doing things. And it was kind of interesting. I don't know how 100% true that is, but the city of Detroit did go bankrupt. So it's kind of interesting to see how that came to light so many years later. The movie is interesting and great. Even though we had that first movie where it was the corporation heads being the slum, the scum, and the slime of, the backbone of the bad villains in the movie, this is drugs. This is a gang. And this is Kane. Kane is ruthless, and he becomes the next big fighting machine after he is almost killed by Robocop in a pursuit. And the aspect of this is that it's really different and more gritty and in your face. The ending is great because you have Robocop versus Robocop 2. It's called Robocop 2 for a reason, because Kane is Robocop 2. And it's just really scary of how it's done, how his mind or entire brain is saved and implanted in a cyborg or a robot for that matter, and it just really develops everything and it's fun. Not only that, Dan O'Herlihy is the old man, the OCP president. He was a big actor in the 1980s who played in all these villain role films. He was in Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, the first Robocop, where he was just the backbone of the whole aspect of the corporation meetings, but he is, I feel like, the villain in this, and it just works in a way where you're like, huh, this is interesting. The character of Kane is great, and his entire gang is really interesting. The young kid, like, who would think a young kid like that could do all of that shit in a movie, or let alone like being what is it, for the time that if that actually happened. It's set in a world where, it's a dystopian society. And if you didn't know what a dystopian society is, it's kind of an alternate, like, different take on what a city should be or where a setting should be. And it's like, it's puts the story forward and it moves it forward. The setting itself is interesting and great. Like I said, if we knew where these Robocop movies took place and what year, what decade, it would have made it work. But I feel like with them putting no year time frame on it, it really made the movie better. This wasn't well received as the kind of, better of the franchise ones. But like I said, in the beginning of this, the film did receive attention once again in 2013, for that matter. I remember it now, from news outlets, because due to its plot predicting Detroit's filing for bankruptcy in the near future, which was this. So, I mean, listen, hey, you put a Ed 209 on every street corner in Detroit, you put a Robocop, you might save crime or protect the innocent. But it's really fun. It's really interesting. The original poster was great. He's just coming out of a cement wall. There's another poster where he's looking over and then Kane is looking through him through the shadows. It's a fun sequel, but not as good as the first one. But I am still a fan of this. Like, Irvin Kershner is great in directing this, but it was toned down a little bit, but some scenes were just right in your face. There are some like aha moments, but it's nothing to compare with the first one at all. And this was a good entry, just not great, like I stated. For me, Robocop 2 gets 3 out of 5 stars. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about Robocop 2. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? What did you think about the aspect of the story? Did you like the idea that this story was more so of how the OCP was, bankrupting Detroit, and then in 2013 it actually came true? What are your thoughts about movies turning into real life stories later on down the line? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's interesting? Or do you think it's really, really creepy? How do you think Peter Weller did this time around in the second RoboCop movie? Did you like Kane as the villain? And do you think this was more memorable than the first one? Or is the first one still the best? Let me know in the comment section below what all the questions I just asked. And also let me know what rating you would give RoboCop 2. And be sure you click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell for new review videos on my channel. I will see you all in the next review video, and thank you so much for tuning in.